That's funny what they see what she's recording.
Yeah, it's a delay right there. Huh? The example. You don't remember the plug of saying right? See how they do me right before the show.
Well, they have to do it from there to get the video.
Really?
I'm ready. There you go.
Hello, and welcome to another. There we go, I'm back on the mic. And welcome to another edition of Beyond the Noise, where we do everything we can to get past the surface rhetoric, talking about being successful. I'm more interested and concerned about how we got to that road of success. And I'm really excited today. Now, most times in my life, March 8th is today the 8th. It's not a very significant day as far as things I do, things that I'm concerned with. But from my understanding, it is International and National Women's Day. And shout out to all the beautiful women. Without you, it would be no us. But today, I'm super excited
Yes, Lord.
to announce the return of the round-faced Mexican girl. One, Graciela Dagnino. The round-faced Mexican girl has made it back to the show. She said, Greg, I gotta go. I got a lot of stuff going on. I got some wells to save. I got some earth to plant. I gotta make this place better. There's so many things that I have to do before I come back to the show and make the show better. I said, well, Gracie, what am I gonna do? She said, well, you'll figure it out. And Miss P stepped in and figured it out, because I definitely wasn't gonna figure it out. And after 800 long, grueling, terrible days, no water, no food, no nothing, guess who we get to see grace our presence?
So ridiculous.
The one and only round-faced Mexican girl. Grace-O, where and how have you been, young lady?
I've been alright. I've been better, but I'm okay.
Are you okay?
Yes.
The smile says she is okay, folks. We are counting 14 of those 32 teeth. And I'm like, now, without further ado, I'm so excited to announce today's guest. I met this gentleman through one of the best friends of mine. I met him through Sam Davis when my vehicle had just got destroyed as it was parked. And Sam said, hey man, you know, my uncle do it. I said, all right, well, let me talk to him. And he wouldn't return my call, wouldn't return my call. And then he calls me from a rando number and says, hey man, I heard something wrong with your truck, bring it to the shop. I don't know what the shop is, sir. What's your name? And that's how we met. I take it to the shop. I see the work that he's done. That was what, 12, 13 years ago?
Something like that.
He treated me with the best customer service ever, and he was just rocking and rolling. He is a software magician. He is a master of so many different trades. He is from small town Oklahoma, who now by way of Oklahoma is now in the DFW and has one of the best auto body restoration detail shops, and he does shows, ladies and gentlemen, and he is always in the top categories as far as car shows with style and all the other categories we're talking about. And I'm not making any of this up, because before we leave, you'll be able to see the website and go look for yourself. And not only does he do that all day long, but early in the morning and then late in the evening, he helps other people with their wellness and fitness as an instructor at Fit Drive Gym right there in Mansfield. Ladies and gentlemen, I have with me today one Mr. Alric Washington.
Great. Thank you.
What's going on, man?
Not much, sir. How are you?
Man, you know what? I'm excited to have you with me today, man. Let's talk about you for a little bit. I know you went to school in Oklahoma, and your baby in school, I'm talking about college, to what you're rocking with now is what?
I left Frederick High School.
Mm-hmm.
Thought I was going to go to OU. My dad wanted me to be the next wishbone quarterback. But I was fortunate to have a son at 17. Now notice I said I was fortunate.
Yes, indeed. I heard
Most
that.
people would be like, you know, it was irresponsible. Yeah, the act was irresponsible.
Right.
But once I got the son, I was fortunate to have that kid because that kid forced me to see things beyond the football field and know that life had to be more than about a little ball.
Gotcha.
So my goal switched from wanting to be a pro football player to figured out an angle for me to go get a degree, make a living, and start trying to be a real hero.
Was that something? Was that something that? Man, we started out straight serious. Then was that something that you was in you, or was that something that they were telling you while your girl was pregnant? Was that you need to do this, you need to do that, or was that something like, hey, you know what, I might need to take a look at it like this, or was it a combination of both?
Greg, I grew up in a real interesting family. My grandmother was my shero, not my hero, but my shero. Right. I watched my grandmother go to work every day from 3 o'clock to 11 o'clock.
That explains a lot about what I know.
Every day. And so for me, I had uncles, aunts, cousins, relatives who all kind of fell by the wayside in the drug game, addiction, and so they never really told me a lot of what not to do. They showed me a lot of what not to do.
So you learned your lesson through other people's experience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I automatically knew college for me wasn't even a second guess. I had good grades. Exactly. But my son just validated that that's what I had to do, not what I needed to do, but what I had to do.
Right. Man, we are here with Albert Washington, and we jump right into it. So he is now moving his way out of high school, and at 17, had a youngster and going to college.
Yep.
To do what? What was your?
So I initially went to Jarvis Christian College.
Word?
East Texas.
Yeah.
Right up the street on a baseball scholarship. Okay.
Really?
Yes.
You know how hard it is to get a baseball scholarship in the JUCO? A lot of people don't realize that because they spend their money to get them to the pros so you can bypass them.
Yep.
Continue.
So went to Jarvis, HBCU by the way, to play baseball and played 2 years. And my son's mom at the time took a job working at the prison systems in Amarillo. And she told me it was kind of hard for her to take care of work, take care of daycare.
Right.
So I made the decision to move back to Oklahoma, transfer to Southwestern, and take care of my son while she got her career started.
Right.
So for my first year of my junior year, my son lived with me in the dorm.
Word.
I made it work. So but from Frederick High School to Jarvis Christian, and then my junior year, at the end of my sophomore year, I transferred, gave up baseball, and transferred back to Southwestern for an engineering physics program.
I'm gonna go back a little bit.
Come on, let's go.
So, great information ahead of what you said, right? Your son lives with you in the dorm.
Yep.
How old was he?
This was in 1991. Todd was born in 87, so he was 4 years old.
And you made it work. So you could make it through classes, sleep,
made it work.
Oh my gosh. And you talking about diaper change.
Made it work.
There it is right there. Okay, now
with a 21-hour scheduled class load.
So and you had a night class too. That's what I was going to ask. What were your classes like? So
yeah, initially I always was an engineering guy.
What is it about it that was your thing?
Mathematics, science.
Yeah.
That was just my thing. So when I went to Southwestern, my counselor professor, he told me the only way you can really do something in this engineering physics program is if you go get a master's and then go on to get a doctorate.
And go do a whole lot of
but
stuff.
I got a son that's 4 years old that needs stuff right now.
Right.
So I spent a year in the engineering physics program at Southwestern, and I'd already taken tons of math and computer science classes because they all just kind of roll together. And so I decided to double major. And so I left the engineering physics program, went into math and computer science, and got a double major in math and computer science.
So you kind of sped up the information. You
Exactly.
didn't really, all the prestige didn't matter. You need to speed up the information to get what you was looking for. How hard was it And when I say that, I ain't talking about the sleep part. I'm talking about like, because it had to be days where you questioned a whole lot of stuff.
Oh yeah.
How hard was it, like for real?
It was. I'd lie if I say it wasn't difficult at times. I'd lie if I say I didn't feel like packing it up, just going to get a job and taking care of my son. Right. But I knew he deserved more than that. You know, and I knew that my grandmother deserved more than that.
So it was never, you never thought about what you wanted to do. It was more about what made the most sense for you to do.
Well, it made the most sense for others.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Exactly. You do this makes the most sense for others.
Exactly. Because of the sacrifices that they had made for me, unwillingly or unknowingly. They didn't tell me they were making those sacrifices.
Right.
My grandmother just knew that she needed to go provide. And Tumbleweed was her first grandson, and she had to make sure Tumbleweed got to college.
Right.
So
just like that.
She retired the day she retired the week I graduated from Southwestern, because that was her goal. Was to retire to make sure I got through college.
That makes sense. So we are here with Mr. Washington. Grace, do you see anything online? Any questions? Any comments? Any of the Fit Tribe members checking out the podcast? Let's see if anybody got something to say.
No questions yet.
Thank y'all.
Yeah.
Appreciate you. Putting the boy on the spot.
Oh man, hey man. So we're working our way through school. How long did it take you to? Did you get your degree?
Yeah. Oh yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So I figured So how long did it take you to get your degree?
So I graduated high school '88. I ended up graduating from college in May of '94.
Okay.
So 6 years.
Yeah.
I took a year off.
2 schools,
Yep.
6 years,
Yeah,
1 year in the gap.
1 year in between. Went to work a little bit, kind of help out. But I knew the work was just a timeout. That was just a pause.
What do you mean?
Because I knew I had to go finish.
So
that was just a pause.
Something you did to go do what you needed to do.
Exactly. Had an opportunity. My uncle was working at 3M. I don't know if you remember little diskettes.
Yep.
He was working at 3M, and he could get me a job making $18-20 an hour at 19, 21 years old, trying to take care of son.
Yeah.
I'm gone. You know what I'm saying? So I did that for a year, saved up some money to kind of help his mom, help my aunt and them who were helping me take care of him, and then I came back to school. And it was a cakewalk from there.
Yeah. So after that, you done enough to be able to just finish this. Yeah. So you get out of school and now you're heading towards the DFW.
Yep.
How did you get here?
So I graduated in May and went through the summer, went back to Frederick, hanging out, just trying to get a plan together. Tried to build a resume. You know, you ain't got no experience. Right. You got out of school. You know. And at the time, I was dating a young lady whose sister was a staff accountant for a company called IFS, Integrated Fulfillment Systems, in Dallas. Black-owned company. They had just let their programmer go, and so she knew she could get me a job making $32,000 a year. I was like, "What? Right out of college?"
Were you good?
At the time, I thought I was good, but the only experience I had was an internship from Fort Sill. I did 2 years on an internship because I was a math computer science guy.
Right.
But that was the only experience I had. Right. I was a college student. So Elsie Dodu lived here in Fort Worth. She said, "Hey, you can come live with me. You know, get on your feet, get your apartment. I got you a job whenever you want to come." So I packed up my stuff, and the OJ Saga weekend,
Bronco weekend,
was the weekend I showed up. When I walked into her apartment, she said, "Have you heard about OJ?" When I walked in her apartment, they were chasing OJ down Highway 10 in LA.
That is hilarious. You can't even get the hell off. Hey,
you heard about OJ? It's like, what happened to OJ? So that was the weekend I moved. And I mean, there was really the significant thing about that trip is that I'm driving 287, and it's an okay trip until the point I get into Fort Worth and I see these buildings.
Yeah.
And I get choked up just thinking about it now. I see these buildings, I'm like, dude, life just hit.
Yeah, like it's real out here.
This is real. I mean, that's how I felt. I was like, man, can you do this? You know, but I didn't have a choice, you know. But I was like, man, ain't no more going to grandma's tomorrow. This shit just got real.
How old were you?
24 years old, man.
So you're a 24-year-old kid.
Basically.
Because you've been helping out so long that stepping out was a new situation.
Yep.
And you always had help.
Yep. Always.
So pushing that button wasn't hard for you. But once you got that sign,
Man.
and then you look up and then it's y'all.
Man, the exit said Highway 30. I had to go up over that big old overpass.
That's exactly what you're talking
about. I was like, this shit is real. I'm serious, man. I was like, whoa. Man, I was like, okay. Let's go.
I gotta figure it out.
Exactly. That's more or less the attitude I had. Was like, okay, we here now.
So now you're getting through it because he's got to go to school now.
Yep.
And you brand new.
Yep.
Fresh out the pack.
Man, who you tell?
And you go from street lights to city lights, like real life.
Yeah.
I know, man. I'm from South Mississippi, man. Shout out to Greg Wall Senior. Love Picayune, Mississippi.
Right.
But man, I'm telling you, you go out and all of a sudden you're the biggest state in the union, and everybody look different. You're like, man, I ain't never going back to small nothing.
Yes.
But I don't know what to do out here.
Yeah.
So much. But with all of that now, he's growing into his own. And you're growing into your career.
Yeah.
How do you make that work through his elementary years? Because you got two other boys that ain't too far behind.
So what happened was when I left Oklahoma, Todd went to Amarillo to stay with his mom.
Gotcha.
Just so I could try to get
together
established. Because by that time, the time that I kept him in college allowed her to get it together. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so now it's tag team. Now it's her turn.
Why did you do that?
Do what?
Why did you? I don't think you understand how powerful that is. See, you just do what? You literally put your life on pause.
Oh yeah.
And say, all right, go do what you got to do so we can send this.
And we weren't together, but we had an investment together.
That's what I'm asking. Like, what? How do you even have that thought? I'm not speaking from. I don't have any kids.
It was second nature, man. It was second.
It's just
nature.
in you.
It's what I had to do.
Okay.
That was what my son needed me to do. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he needed his mom, you know, but he didn't need a broke mom.
Right.
He needed a mom that was established because I wasn't. She didn't go to college.
Right.
She left school and went to work and landed a gig at the prison system as a guard. And 30 years later, she's a 21-year veteran for the Fort Worth Police Department. You know, but I'd like to think that I had
something to do with it.
Exactly.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
You don't want to star and roll, you just sit back there and go, hey. Was that G? So you took another pause, right? But you move fast and you move with a lot of sense. So I know pausing for you is a little different.
A little different. Yeah.
So now he's growing in out of elementary school because y'all took a turn and helped each other.
Yeah.
Now he's growing into being a man.
Yeah.
And he's spending more time with who, where, doing what.
My son. So when I got established finally here, I went to IFS. Thought I was going to be making $32,000 a year.
Yeah.
I show up. I got on braces, a tie. That's how I went to college. I mean, where you going?
Yeah.
I got class. I got somewhere to go.
Yeah.
So I show up, and then I meet this guy named Leslie Marshall. He owns a company, a black guy. He got on braces and a tie.
Okay.
And he was like, I like this kid. So I'm sitting there thinking, he might give me more than 32.
Yeah.
I'm about to get paid. 4.0 student.
Yeah.
So that's got to count for something. He gives me 21.5. 21.5.
Why?
Because I had zero experience. Fresh out the package. And I said, that's cool. Elsie, she cried. She said, Albert, 21.5? We were just paying this guy $32,000. 21.5. I said, Elsie, that's fine. I took the job. I stayed late at night, teaching myself programming, teaching myself RPG, teaching myself
You
BDI.
was teaching yourself.
Teaching myself.
What kept you in there this late at night?
What? Because I wanted to escape 21.5.
There it is. Every time you say something, you got one specific purpose or goal.
Exactly.
That's what I keep hearing. Like, it's like, all right, look, this is what I got to do to get to that.
Yep. Exactly.
That kind of discipline ain't real in a lot of factions. We deal in order to maintain a certain situation, you have to have self-discipline for what makes you make sense. It's hard to comprehend that kind of thought that I'm moving in this direction, I will stop. Don't, you're not forcing me, you're not making me. This is what needs to be done to get to that.
Yep.
Continue.
So that's what I did.
Yeah.
I'd stay late. I'd learn these languages. He buy all this new software, and I'd conquer. Said, man, this boy's good. Then he gave me 24,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay.
So he saw value.
Yeah, he saw value. Exactly, he saw value. I was his little protege, right? He loved the way I dressed, you know.
But you were getting results. It wasn't that you were just. He didn't care if you were staying late.
No.
He cared that the
I was getting
result from
results. I was
staying
getting
late.
results, right.
Please, everybody, especially you young kids. Nobody cares if you get there first and leave last. You might take 2 naps. Nobody cares. What's the result of you spending all that time? Because if there are no results, you're wasting all that time. So nobody cares because he was getting results. So the value he saw was based in his pocket.
Exactly.
Continue. Yes, sir.
So he let me stay late and use his electricity and his time, right? And all along, he think he's benefiting. I was benefiting the most because I was packing away what I needed to know to escape 24/5.
So you never complained. You just knew. The more you knew, the more time you spent, the more the money
valuable I was going to be. Exactly. So finally, I got to a point after 9.5, 10 months there that I knew I was worth more than what I was being compensated for. And
How'd you know that?
How did I know?
Yeah.
Because I met some people and told them what I did, you know, and same degrees, you know, same type of work, same entry level positions, and they're making, you know, $8,000-$10,000 more than I was making.
Wow.
So I just wasn't in the right place, right?
Right.
But I was thankful for that opportunity because homeless versus 21.5. I think every homeless person under the bridge will take it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
No doubt about it.
So I was okay with it, right? So
let me ask you. Once you found out the numbers, you wasn't bitter. Like, you wasn't like, oh man, they making this, I'm making that. You know what? I get it because I was on. It happened to me one time. I had more experience than 4 or 5 other people, and I had a little more result and background, and I was paying $4,800 less. You know what I said? That's kind of messed up.
Yes.
I was upset about it. I wasn't upset with them.
Yep.
I got it.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
So.
And so I just kept grinding, kept trying to learn different computer science languages. And the benefit about being at a small company is you get thrown into doing a bunch of different stuff. So not only was I writing,
Like somebody can attest to that.
So not only was I writing code,
Yeah.
I ended up being the network guy. I ended up building networks.
Did you ever pay for any of it? Like, did you ever have to get a certification?
Nope. I got it on the job. The best certification you can get.
But you got it after hours on the job.
Yep.
Because they supply the information.
They supplied the information.
Man, that's a powerful
And I
lesson.
just took it.
It's almost like I'm watching film.
Yeah.
All the film is there.
Yeah.
All the
You just gotta
rooms
go
are
watch
open.
it. You just gotta go watch it. You just gotta go watch it. And take away from it what you can.
And you don't know what you're looking for till you know what you're looking at.
Exactly. So that's what I did. I just grinded. And then I finally just said, you know, I'm putting a resume together. I'm gonna go fishing. I'm gonna see what's out there. And I got one of the best breaks I ever got in life. I met a guy named Thomas Chu.
It's funny how the people who matter to you in your life, you see them right before you say their full name.
Yeah. I went and interviewed at a company called Cellstar Corporation back when Nokia and Motorola first hit the market.
Yeah, when they were throwing the phone.
Hello, Moto.
Yeah.
Cellstar was the biggest aftermarket phone manufacturer. And I went and I interviewed with this guy, and he's a Chinese guy, and I walk in, you know, I'm dressed nice, and he sees me. He said, well, you look good, you know, in his Chinese voice or whatever. He said, what do you know? And we start talking, and immediately he didn't ask me one technical question, because he could tell just from talking to me that I had something to offer, even if I didn't know all the technical jargon. And he gave me an opportunity.
He gave you, you don't ever earn opportunities. Man, we've been doing this show. Nobody's ever said, I've earned an opportunity. Nobody's ever said that. Said, I earned it. Continue, man.
He gave me an opportunity. Because for what he needed me to do, I knew zero about it. but he saw something in me that he thought he could get what he needed out of me.
Mm-hmm.
And that guy.
Did you believe him?
Yes. Oh hell yeah, I believe in me.
Say that say it clearly.
Yes.
So every person can hear.
I believe deeply in me, even if I don't know. If you give me an opportunity and give me time, I'm gonna know, and you're not gonna know that I don't know.
That's the biggest power we got.
Exactly. So this guy gave me $28,000 to start working for him. So in 9 months, I went from $21,500 to $28,000, right? And that don't sound like a lot of money.
No, it sounds like an amazing 23% jump. But continue.
Yeah, but right. The average cost of living raise is 2% a year. You get what I'm saying? So I went, what is that? 100%, 100 times that, or 10 times that?
Yeah, whatever that is.
Whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
And I took it because I saw the bigger picture.
What do you mean?
He says to me, I want you to do EDI for me. EDI is electronic data interchange. I know that now. I didn't know that at 25 when I went on this interview.
And you didn't care.
And I didn't care. He said, the reason I want you to do that for me is because the way you dress, you're attentive to detail. And that's what EDI requires. And this guy hired me to do EDI for him. And today,
got plenty of time.
I've been an EDI consultant for 30 years.
30 years. And all he gave you was an opportunity because he saw something.
Yeah.
He didn't see you, he saw something in you. And all you had to do was prove him right.
Yeah.
Man, like it's a funny bug. And I know quite a few people like that, man, when you see something. Because people see things and people have seen quite a few things in me that I didn't even know existed.
Yep.
But we're going to continue.
And what he taught me was he taught me EDI, taught me how to be a better developer, but he taught me how to sell myself wholesale. So in 95, he told me I was too good to be working for corporate America. He said, I think you need to try being a consultant. And this is at 26 by this time.
That's your kid. With a kid.
Yes, exactly. 2 kids now.
Yeah, okay.
2 kids.
So my man on the scene.
Shy, 2 kids now.
Yeah.
And he promoted me, put me a resume together, and sent me to
He put you on.
Sent me to a company called Uniden. Remember the big wall phones behind the wall?
Wait a minute, stop. He fired you to put you in a
No, he didn't fire me.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
He let you go to go be in a better
because he didn't think that his IT director would give me what he thought I was worth at that time. And I'd only been working for this guy for a year and a half.
It don't take long to see what you say.
So I went to Uniden, and I'm on a project with a guy, and at this time I'm making $36,000, and I'm okay with that, right?
Yeah.
From 21.5 to 36.
But you never did it for the money. You did it for your son.
Exactly. And so I'm sitting here at Uniden, and we're on a project, and this guy named Todd Dishman was filling out what I know now was an invoice to get paid, and I noticed that it said $2,600 for the week. And I'm sitting here like, wait a minute, Todd.
Because your numbers.
Wait. We doing the same project. We making the same mistake in this code. I'm making 36 a year. You about to make 26 for the week.
Today?
I said, how do I bill like you bill? And I called Thomas. I said, is this what you were talking about? He said, no, that's what you need to do. You need to sell yourself wholesale. I met with an attorney. I incorporated, and in October '96, I had my first consulting assignment, and I've been busy ever since.
And busy ain't even the word for it. I mean, we gonna talk about that shortly, but it ain't enough hours
from
in
an
the
IT
day
perspective.
for the numbers of activities that go on. But I keep noticing that every time you came to a spot where it can be viewed as you were slighted, you were cheated, you were something, you literally took that and said and asked a question about how to get to that point. It ain't not how not to be that. It was how do you do that? Like,
Exactly. Yeah. He wasn't doing nothing wrong. He had figured it out already.
yeah, like, I'm trying to find out what you're doing. So
at the time he was 28, so he was young.
Right.
But he had figured it out.
Wow.
And he said, "This is what you do. Here's my attorney. Here's the guy that I paid to incorporate me." I met with the same guy. Gave him my $600, got incorporated, and
Gone.
took off. Yep.
Here with Alfred Washington, as you can see, his story is something that I have never heard before. I think this is tremendous. Anything online, Grace So?
No, so that means you're either blowing them away or they're all taking naps.
Yeah.
Good. I hope they sleep.
So I'm sure that ain't the case. I'm really excited about this next transition, right? So when did you go from consultant to business owner and collectively independent contractor / professional?
96.
Okay.
That was my break. That was my break in 96.
What
I incorporated, started my own business, started selling myself wholesale.
Yep.
Got my first consulting assignment through a headhunting firm.
That's where I'm going. Like we.
And paid $65 an hour, paid them $17 an hour. In 6 months, a guy named Kevin Womack owned the company. He came to me and said, "Alric, you know what? After 6 months, the contract is yours." And typically, they don't do that. You know?
What do you mean?
Like, a headhunter always wants part of the profit.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
Yeah.
But after 6 months, he gave me the complete contract at Circle International. So right off the cuff, after 6 months, I went to making my $65 an hour wholesale rate.
And that was that.
And that was the bottom
running that
line.
way ever since. Yeah.
Well, no, actually, it's been
Yeah, I'm running that way. Yeah, you running that way ever since. So
exactly.
And now you those skills that you got in consulting, you parlay those math skills that you literally learn after hours at work to provide.
Yep.
Now you take those skills into cars.
Yep.
How do we do that?
So I don't think it was an accident. I've always had nice cars and did stuff to them that nobody else was doing to them. And even at that time, I owned a little 280Z, and I didn't like the color of it. Yeah. So found a guy, we totally flipped it, redid the interior, and I didn't know that eventually that's what I would be doing as another business.
Right. What brought
so
you?
I consulted, like I said, since '96, traveled all over the place, made some crazy money doing it because everybody got scared for Y2K.
Yeah.
Rates hit the roof. I always wanted to be an athlete, but here I am as a 28, 30-year-old kid making $260 an hour.
Still hustling.
To write code for people. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
And a story that sticks to my heart dearly, my grandmother came to visit, and I took a check and I laid it on the dresser. And I said, "That's yours, Mama." And she picked it up. She opened it up.
What would you take this from?
And she said, "Tumbleweed?" That's what she called me. "Is this shit legal?" It was a 2-week check for $10,000. She's like, "Is this shit legal?" I said, "Yeah, Mama." She just shook her head. That's all she did, and put it in her purse.
And told the world that sense of pride ain't gone away.
Yeah, and I bet you when she died, she probably still had some of that money somewhere. That's just how she was.
That is awesome.
I mean, that was a proud moment for me because she realized that she thought her boy had made it. I said, "I still got a long way to go." I said, "But go back to Frederick, find the house you want, and we're gonna put your name on it.
Let's do it the right way." Yeah.
So she went back home. There was this one house she always wanted on 15th Street. Every time we go during Christmas time, look at the lights. Man, I love that house.
Let me ask you a question to take you back from graduation. How many people in your family, the regular family, graduated?
Oh man, at the time when I graduated from college.
When
I graduated from college, when I graduated, I was the third person to graduate from college.
In the tree.
Yep. At that time.
Yeah.
In '94.
Now, who was the first?
My aunt.
How long ago from you? Before
She
like
two generations.
20?
She two
40
generations.
years.
She two generations.
Okay.
And then her daughter was the next.
And then you.
And then me. But
Okay.
yeah. So her daughter and my dad were two sisters' kids.
Okay.
Yeah.
So after you, how many have graduated?
1, 2, 3. Yeah, at least 5 or 6 of us.
You've doubled the numbers in half the time.
Yeah.
You have literally
Yeah.
rewritten the history
Yeah.
of your family.
Oh yeah.
I say that all the time, and people need to realize, and I don't care who hears it, pictures matter, attitude and actions matter, and then the people next to you, what they're doing and what they're saying, it matters because you saw that example, you made a decision, and it wasn't impossible. Actually, it was a plan and it was doable because you're seeing it done. The reason I ask is because think about what you said. It took 2 generations, and now it took half the time, double the people.
Yep. And all those people are my cousins.
And those roots gonna run deep.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. Because that's the rhetoric in the house. So let me ask you a question. I know your boy. One is in college. Huh?
2.
2 are in college. Yeah, that's right. Also.
2.
And then you got Kanaz who's about to go to
He's
college.
going to Stanford.
So let me. Now we have matched in a year.
Yep.
What took 40 years to do.
Yeah.
But they're following your example. How does that? What are you? And I know your boys. You're not forcing them. You're not force feeding them. They're paying attention and moving. How is that? I know how that makes you feel, but how is that part? What are you saying to these kiddos to keep them curious about success?
I don't know that I'm saying anything. I believe in actions and showing them, and so that's really what I do.
But they're paying attention.
They're paying. I said the work is with them. They just pay attention.
So how are you getting them to pay attention to the positive thing?
I'm not sure. I think with my younger 2 or younger 3 boys, their mom has been a big influence in that aspect. You know what I'm saying? Because she's wired a little different.
They're brilliant, by the way.
She always sees the bigger picture. So even if it's like reprimanding them, she's reprimanding them with the bigger picture in mind. Me, I'm just gonna spank your ass. Hey, go sit down and do whatever.
So you're the moment, she the long run.
She's long run, and that has really helped them in the long run.
When you say bigger picture, because everybody's bigger can mean something different. Because my bigger is sometimes delusions of grandeur, but define bigger picture according to the way you see it and the way you show
just
it.
life, like bigger than right now.
Beyond, okay, so
Bigger
beyond
than
right now, and it's
Bigger
looking
than right
beyond
now.
the person you're talking about.
And what the ramifications of it can be down the road is how she approaches their discipline and teaching them.
And you're a
things
consequence
like that.
in the moment.
Kind of.
Yeah,
I'm kind of like, I'm broke. Oh, that's cool.
So
Give me a couple hours.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
You ought to make money. I go figure that part out.
Exactly. Yeah.
That makes sense.
But I mean, my boys, I've never had to like talk a lot to them. My oldest son, that unfortunately passed away last year. He was probably, as he got older, he kind of was curious about some things and probably not proud that he experimented in some areas in life that he wasn't taught. But hey, that's life. And if you keep living, eventually you're gonna be introduced to those things. It's just a matter of do you invite them in? Do you push them aside? Learn from them. Keep pushing. But he was probably the one that I had to at some point sit down and say, "Man, look, you ain't never seen me get high."
How close were you guys?
Man, it ain't. I can't talk about it without crying all night. I mean, that was like I tell people, he took things to his grave that only he and I know about. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he wanted to be just like his old man, but he didn't know. I wanted to be just like him. And he was 17 years young. You know,
Right,
he was my
right,
kid, but
right.
I don't know. I saw myself. It literally was watching myself as a kid because he was just like everything, mannerisms, the way he wanted to dress.
What did that
His
look
Nikes
like?
had to match his shirt. His socks had to match his. You know what I'm saying? It was just like, but we were extremely close.
Mm-hmm.
And we grew apart as he got older, just because I didn't agree with some of his lifestyle choices, and that's gonna happen.
Yeah,
But in the end,
mm-hmm.
we had the best relationship because he finally got it.
Yeah.
You know why he got it? Because he had a son.
Mm.
You know, it was like, now you see.
It stopped being about his moment. It
Wasn't about him
being
anymore. Wasn't about him anymore.
Right.
Exactly.
So that thing that you have to see early in life.
Yeah.
It can't, because if it gets shown to you, it's usually shown to you.
Right. Yeah.
How old? We're friends, man. So I got it.
We're good, man. What's up?
How old was he? And what happened?
Todd was 32 years old, man. 32 years old.
I knew
You know, Todd was 32, but Todd had an old soul, and you probably think that he was brought back again to
reincarnated
finish out some life. You know what I'm saying? He had one of those kind of souls.
So he knew things that he didn't even know.
He knew things he didn't. Exactly. And so, you know, Todd ended up becoming dependent on pills such as Xanax to help cure his anxiety, depression, and things of that nature. And he was very like impulsive. Like he didn't think it could happen to him.
So the numbers didn't match him.
No. And so about, I think he graduated from high school in 05. So I'm thinking probably like 10 or 11. Todd was in Tyler visiting my other son that was going to school at Tyler. And Todd decided to try and rob a lady, leaving her 2 o'clock shift at Walmart, walking across the street to Whataburger. But he was so high that he couldn't restrain her before her friends got there to restrain him before the cops got there. So my son got charged with aggravated robbery, sentenced to 5 years in prison. And I think that was the best thing that could have ever happened to him, you know?
Let's talk about you.
Yep.
You didn't judge him, did you?
No.
How did you, I know you didn't. How did you feel after the initial feeling, like the realization that this has happened, and he's in a position where there's limited ways I can help him? How did you feel about that, knowing the way you help?
I was okay.
Why?
Because I had done everything I was supposed to do.
That's why
I was okay.
Yeah.
He put himself there, and he made that bed, and he had to sleep in it, and it was just, hey man, you gotta suck it up. You gotta go do this, because I'm claustrophobic. I can't go do it for you. So I'll let you when you get there.
Hey, make sure we go this way. I need where the walls open up.
Exactly. I'm good.
So how did your other boys see you handling it? Was that how did that work? Because I know that was important to you. And not to hide things, but to handle them a certain.
Yeah, I explained to him what was going on.
So you just transparency always.
Exactly. Yeah. Your big brother's gonna be gone for a while.
Yeah.
This is why he's gone, and this is what happened. And this is the thing that you guys need to learn from it. And the first thing he did when he wrote home was apologize to his little brothers for not being a better example. And you know, at that point, you can't ask for nothing else,
right?
Because he learned the lesson.
Yeah.
He saw what unfortunately, he still got to suffer the consequences.
Right.
But he learned the lesson.
So you a big believer in this. This is what happened. This is the experience. This is the consequence. What'd you get from it?
Yep, exactly. Yep. That's the only way you learn, right? But he did his time, and he had his son was born before he went, and that was a big blow to him because now you got to be away from your kid. But we stepped up, took care of daycare.
It's part of what it is.
Part is what we do. But you know, he thought him and the mom were gonna be together when he got out. She took the kid there to visit him, and so he had all these high hopes of I'm gonna get my crap together.
Right.
And when he got out, it didn't really happen like that.
Right.
And that was kind of the beginning of the end for him. You know, he stressed out about it, started hallucinating because he wasn't resting, couldn't see his kid at one point, and he got dependent on Xanax again. And he came to me one day, he called me, he said, Dad, I don't know why, but Aunt Tanya's in the tree with machetes on her hand, you know? I'm about to kill this BIT. I was like, man, you just need to go calm down. I said, I'll pick you up. I picked him up, Greg, and we rode out to the body shop. And we were restoring a limousine for a customer. And when we pull up, he sees this limousine, and he's like, Daddy, that's them right there.
Hey, that's the coolest thing.
You know? And he just slid down in his seat. So what I did, I said, hey, man, I said, do you ever think I would let anybody hurt you, man? I said, just lean the seat back so they can't see you, you know? So at this point, I'm having to go along with him because he's gone. He's over there, you know? And this dude grabbed my arm so hard, man, and it wasn't nowhere. He said, Daddy, don't you leave me here. You know, dude, he grabbed me so hard. I said, dude, just let the seat back. Because I realized it was a situation where if I tried to get away from him, we were going to be fighting. You know? I just played along. I got out, and how long I get out, he's laid back in the seat. He's watching me. I worked my way through the shop to where he can't see me. Got my phone. Hardest thing I ever had to do. I dialed 911.
Wow.
I said, I need to have you guys come get my son.
How is it that you keep a logical focus in the most emotional times?
I don't know. I guess just watching my grandparents who just made it happen, you know? But I called 911. They arrested him and admitted him to John Peter Smith to have a mental evaluation. And I brought that up because the best thing that happened to him there. They let him go after 3 days, said he was fine, he just needed to be hydrated and blah, blah, blah. He's on the elevator. He meets two gentlemen who were on their way back to Victory Temple Ministries in Fort Worth. If you've ever seen the guys walking around with
Banana bread?
Banana bread.
Yes, I love that place.
My son did that for 1 year. He met these people.
They do cheesecakes now.
Yes.
I just bought two.
No, the women do.
The women do.
They do
I haven't
women do
tasted-
cheesecake.
Yes. He met these guys. They said, man, they'll give you a place to stay, clothes, food. You just have to commit to the ministry and try to.
You don't have to earn a place to stay. They just give you an opportunity to get yourself together.
They allowed Todd to go into the men's home. This Hispanic lady and her husband started this program, and they took my son in, man, and they saved my son's life because
they saw something in it.
But my son, he found the Lord, and he changed his life, and peddled that bread like nobody's business, man. Do you hear me? I'm talking. I would run into this boy, and he was as black as this microphone from that sun.
Cooking his top of that head.
But man, that boy, and he got the gift of gab. I mean, I can talk, but this dude can. He can talk.
He can banana bread on the hottest day in the summer.
This dude was bringing the wood, man. I was like, and they loved this kid, man. You know, because they saw a passion in him. And he met some people along those paths that said, hey, when you're done with this program, I got a job for you. And that boy got out of that program in 9 months and was the manager at a Sears, man. Because somebody saw something. And so he did that for a while, and an opportunity came up in Guymon, Oklahoma,
Mm-hmm.
for him to be a general manager, a district manager at a pig factory, a pig farm.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know that kid went out there making $52,000 a year with zero degree? You know,
You just understand the deal with people.
because because he learned how to deal with people.
Deal with people. People will get you further than things ever can.
So he's out there in Guymon, which is way up in the panhandle, right? And they transfer him to Kansas. Now he's further away from everybody.
And it's cold.
It's cold, and he can't see his son.
Bone chilling.
So he's doing everything he can, sending her money, and she's making him think he's going to establish this relationship. And that never happened. So my son moved back to Oklahoma, was roommates with his brother, and he came home March 6th or whatever. My birthday's in February. I turned 50. They couldn't come home. Everybody couldn't be together. So
Yeah, it's hard to believe. You know?
Exactly.
He did that on purpose. Why he plugged himself.
I get that all the time, Grace. Yeah. They're like, what?
You had me at, I think it was at the beginning when Greg said you were
She's like
Sam's
91.
uncle.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah, I get that all the time. I appreciate it. But so everybody was home because all the boys wanted to be home at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So they came home the first week of March.
Right.
And this week
Yeah.
we just kicked it, had a lot of fun, worked out, hit the gym.
Mm-hmm.
And Todd and Rashad left to go back to Oklahoma. They came back on the 18th to go visit his attorney to work on getting custody, joint custody. He comes home. He say, "Dad, everything went well. We're gonna head back to Oklahoma." This is on the 19th. So the 20th, I get a phone call at 4:57. I had just taken a picture of a CTS Cadillac that I was gonna send to my son Rashad to let him know I almost got the car ready. You can come pick it up. I snapped the picture at 4:56. At 4:57. My phone's ringing and it's Rashad. I'm like, dude, let me get the pictures ready.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send
Like,
them
dude,
to
I'm
you.
getting you right. Yeah.
But he's calling me crying because his brother is unresponsive. They're working on him. And at the time, he's not telling me really what's going on, other than Todd had a seizure, Daddy, and we don't know if he's gonna make it, and blah blah blah. I go home, grab my Isha, we jump in the car, we flying down 35, 6:20. I get a phone call from him. They couldn't save him, Daddy. They pronounced him dead. So we get there, we go ahead and finish making the drive, and I stopped in the middle of the freeway and I just got out. I was like, come on, man. I'm just screaming. She's like, oh, we can't park on 35.
You gotta pick a side.
You can't park in the, and then we in the fast lane at that. I'm like, so we make the 4-hour trip to Weatherford, and it's just funny how life came full circle. I grew up in Frederick and Weatherford.
Right.
That's where Southwestern is.
Yep.
My son passed away in Weatherford, Oklahoma. That's where his residence was, And so we get there, I talk to my son, and he finally tells me, Daddy, we left your house, we stopped by Easy Mart, we got gas, and when Todd came back to the car, he had 5 bars. So he got these from somebody. They weren't his prescription. So he got 5. Let's do some math. I got a degree in math I can add. So he took 1, Rashad took 1. They got 3 left. They just chilling on the way home, laughing, whatever. The next morning, Todd wakes up and says, hey, Rashad, you want half of this 1 that I have left. So that means 2 more are gone, right? At noon, Rashad drops Todd off at his girlfriend's house. He's gonna go take a nap. She gets off at 4:30. I'll get her to bring me back, and we'll get in the gym and get our workout on. She comes on at 4:30. Todd slouched on the edge of the bed at the end of a seizure. So at some point in time, within that less than 24 hours, he potentially took 4 Xanax that he doesn't know what was in it. Eventually, the autopsy comes back, and they were laced with fentanyl, and he's allergic to that chemical that triggered a seizure, and that's what happened to him. Yep. So they deem it an accidental seizure by accidental overdose. Yep. 32 years old, a lot of life, a lot of potential. But I wanted to beat him up, smack him around a little bit, But growing up being a Christian, I've always believed that our days are numbered, and that 320 was just his day, and that I count my blessing that I didn't have to go identify my kid. I didn't have to go pick him off a pavement for being shot to death or stabbed to death. He laid down and take a nap and didn't wake up. So this month is gonna be rough, but we gonna get through it. Cause he's like, Pops, come on, man. We built for this. That's what he's always telling me. We built for this. But it's been a real trying year, real trying. And I don't know if that's why I try to stay busy and have 15 jobs.
Man, listen, I was gonna say.
You sound like me.
I'm talking about, I was literally gonna say, is that why the night don't matter? Like, is that why the hours? But do you? I know you still got hands, so I gotta ask.
Yeah,
I know you talk about it, and I know how it makes you feel. But have you faced it all the way? Have you taken the time to let that?
Yeah.
How long did that take, and what?
I'm still doing it.
That's what I'm asking.
Still doing it.
How are you? How do you compartmentalize it?
Man, I've never felt sorry for myself. Never been that type.
No doubt about that.
Never been that type. But I think it's just and I'm not as close as I need to be at this time, or I have been in the past. But just my faith and belief that there's a reason for everything, and that God is ultimately in control. I've grieved, and I'm still grieving. I took a trip by myself, fired up the bike, and just took a trip down to his gravesite in October.
Did it help?
Hung out for the weekend. Yeah, and the strangest thing, I pull up on the bike, I park at his tombstone, and park the bike and get off. Put the kickstand down. I'm like, man, you can't do this. You ain't ready to do this. And I just lost it. I had to take a couple laps around the cemetery. I was like, dude, get yourself together, man. Yeah. And then I just finally stopped and sit there and cussed him out for a little bit. And
that's fair, man.
Kicked it with him, but it helped. It was a big help, and part of me riding is kind of, I feel him breathing on me, so it's kind of therapeutic for me. But it's not easy, man. It's really not easy.
Do people help?
Oh, of course.
But I mean,
of course.
Bad question.
Of course.
How are you helped in that? So
of course. That's just a lot of just a good support system, good friends. Sam, Chris, the boot camp group. Just
shout out to the tribe.
Yep, the tribe. Yep. Being able to train those people and feel like you're doing something to help them.
You know what?
It just that's therapeutic for me.
Yeah, that's what. I've been waiting on somebody to get on here to say that.
Yeah, that's therapeutic to me. Yeah.
I think many of us are the same in that they do way more for us.
Oh yeah, I tell them that all the time. Yeah, the lady in personal training now, she asked me today, why do you do this? She said,
let me get my book.
I know. I said, for people like you. I said, that's it. That's it. She said, you do consulting, you do all this stuff, so why do you do this? I said, it's just to help people like you change your life. You know what I'm saying? Realize that you can do things that you don't think you can. And she was probably, she may not have, because it's the third time saying it. She said that, you know that the grand opening, when I came here, I had another gym that I was supposed to go to do a consultation. And she said there was something about your personality. She said I canceled when I walked out here and sat in my car. She said it was just something about you that I knew this was where I was supposed to be.
This is Fit Tribe Gym, y'all. FitTribeGym.com.
Yep, yep.
I tagged them in the post at the bottom.
But that's what I'm talking about. Like right there, like it's a lot of value in the ability to see a grown up at their most necessary of health state. Like it's, this ain't fun for me.
Yeah.
This is difficult for me.
Yeah.
This is scary for me.
Yeah.
All the things that you feel.
Yep, yep, yep.
We all need some kind of outlet for some other kind of purpose. There's no way anybody can compare anything they've been through unless they've been through what you're going through.
And it's still different.
Right.
Everybody's experience.
But the feeling is the same.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think maybe they help you feel something different.
Oh yeah. Yep, exactly.
You know.
It's very therapeutic. And then they're very supportive. You know, we gotta it's Fit Tribe Gym now, but it's been Bam Adventure Boot Camp
for a long time,
boy. For a long time. And that group of people, you won't find another group like that, man. You know, when you got original campers that signed up in 06 that's still rocking with you.
And they rocking with you, like
rocking.
They know your family rocking with you. Barbecues.
Come on, man. That says something. But those people really help. They really help. So that's why I look forward to going, and I don't care how tired I am or whatever. I look forward to getting up in the morning or leaving the shop and going and yelling at people to do whatever.
Miss B, can I have 2 more minutes? All right, continue.
It's therapeutic.
She said, okay.
Yeah.
If I could tell anybody anything about my road, my path, or whatever, man, it's just I didn't really see a choice. You know what I'm saying? And coming from where I come from, I had every reason to fail, every reason to be a statistic, whether that's dead, incarcerated, or whatever. Had every reason, but I didn't buy into those reasons. You know.
No, you didn't. Do you think that the same people you saw doing it saw something in you that moved you away from those?
Oh yeah, I heard it all the time. I'm like, you know, that people would always say, you know, everybody. If you go to Frederick, nobody knows me as Alric. It's Tumbleweed. They didn't even know my name was Alric. They like, what? That's your name. But it was always, they always thought they saw something that, you know, and to me, I ain't done nothing. I ain't done nothing. You know, I bought a Mustang in 2007, 2006, restored it, won a car show, and now I'm 5 employees deep, 14 years later. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Why? Because somebody at the car show said, can y'all help me do mine?
Maybe. Hey man, what you know about that?
That's exactly what I did.
Hey man, no eliminates options, man.
That's exactly what I did.
First lesson. You know what? No eliminates options.
Yeah, we can.
Can I do what? Give me an hour.
Yes, we can.
No eliminates.
And that's how it started in 2006.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well.
So what consulting allowed me to do was fund it a little bit. Right? Yeah. Because in the beginning, you got to reach in your own pocket. Right. So that's what happened. I never really, because the two don't really go together. Right. But the fact that I learned how to sell myself wholesale, could make a little more money than the average paying job, allowed me to rent a small shop, then get the business started, then to let the shop start to help build itself to where it is now. So that's kind of how
I noticed in that entire exchange, you never said you did any of that. You allowed, let the shop. Yeah. And we have to understand, give ain't free, and give and shall be given. Grace, so what are you going to leave the people with?
Dang, you want me to follow that?
Yeah, that's what I'm waiting on.
Well, I do want to say that Miss Lysandra Bell said prayers for comfort and strength.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Well, you know. So I think you were just wowing them with your story is what it was.
Hey.
But I think that I would like to leave them with losing someone is always sad.
Oh, yeah.
and you're gonna miss them forever, but you have the ability to keep everything that you learned from them and all the love that you had while they were here, and you get to share that with everyone around you.
Right.
And that's the best gift that you could give them.
Appreciate it.
I think that's fantastic. Now I gotta follow that. Usually I don't have a problem following up. This has been eye-opening and a real treat. I am proud to say, be able to call you my friend, in the fact that you see people move all day, every day, and you don't know what they got on the bed of their truck, and they're still moving at that speed. It's heavy, but you still gotta go. I'm just privileged to be a part of it.
Appreciate it.
With that, I'm going to end the night. Thank you for being here with us. If you missed it, we will replay it a gajillion times, because I think a whole lot of people need to understand that they're not the most important person around them. You guys enjoy the evening. We'll see you next week on Beyond the North.